Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel No Networks. So guys, this will be the last tutorial in the checkpoint series, and over here we will be doing a CLI configuration, the complete configuration over a CLI. We will be seeing how you can do a various configuration, and moving on we will see the troubleshooting commands as well. So guys, in this topic, the complete configuration through a CLI, what we are going to do is we will be doing the command line for the checkpoint security management server and the troubleshooting over here, and then we will move on to checkpoint security gateway, and over there we will be doing the command line configuration and the required troubleshooting. So just moving on, let me add two important things. The very first thing, when you talk about the CLI, there are two different modes in the checkpoint firewall. The first one is a CLI shell, also called as CLISH or a supershell. CLISH or a supershell. The one which you are seeing over here is a CLISH, that is a command line interface of the checkpoint firewall. And another mode is called expert mode. Expert mode might be the new name for you, but it is nothing but the Linux shell, you can say, in the checkpoint firewall. As you know that the checkpoint firewall is built up on the Linux operating system. So the expert mode, whenever I say expert mode, all the Linux commands will be working on that particular mode, expert mode. In the coming time, we will see how you will enter into the expert mode and all. That is the Linux shell. And the second note which I would like to add is very informative note. That is, every time you want to do a configuration through a CLI, you won't be going physically to the firewall, because these firewalls will be kept inside the data center. So each and every time for doing a configuration, you won't be connecting a console cable and going and doing the configuration physically. What you will do, you will be doing the configuration for this checkpoint security management server or checkpoint security gateway remotely. So let's move to the host over here, host machine, that is my laptop, and we will be doing the configuration from here remotely. I will be using the third party tool which is put. You can use any similar tool over here, and the very first thing what I am going to do is I will be putting the IP address of my security management server, that is 10.1.1.150. The port number will be 22, and SSH, click on open. We will be accessing this. We will be taking a login through the admin user. And over here, the very first command which we will see is how to create a local user. So guys, to create user, but before that, we will see how you can see the users available. So to see that, the command is show users. This is our first command, show users. It will give you the list of available users, that is local users, and it is saying that you have one admin user and another one is monitor. The admin user is the one which we are using for accessing our appliances. The monitor user is basically for the monitoring purpose, and you cannot do any kind of configuration because it has a limited privileges. Now if you want to add a user, the command is add user, and you have to give the username. Let's give the username test. Similar to the Linux, you have to define the user ID, that is UID, and the UID number. Let's give 222. You can give anything, and then the directory you have to define, which will be home directory slash home slash the username. It is similar what you do in Linux, right? So this way you will add a user, hit enter, and it is saying that the user is created, but now you have to set the password and you have to define the role for this particular user. So guys, in order to set the password, the command is set user, set user, and you have to give the username and then new password and whatever password. Let's give test at 123, enter. So what we did now, we have created a user and we have set the password. This was the command create the user, and this is the command to set the password. Now let's see the user is created and it is shown or not. The command is show user. Hit enter, and you can see that the user which you created, the test user, it is reflected over here with its user ID and the privileges. Now, let's say if you want to delete a specific user once the one which you created is no more required. And let's take the test user itself. If you want to delete this user now, so if you want to delete this user, the command is delete user and the username which is test. Hit enter. Verify that it is deleted. Just give show users command over here, and you can see now the user is removed from here. So guys, this is how you will be adding the user, set up the password, or if you want to remove the user, you can do it through a CLI. Let's move to the expert mode and see what all things can we can do over there. So to enter the expert mode, first you have to set the expert mode password in the checkpoint firewall. The command to set the expert mode password is set expert password. It is asking you to enter the password over here. Guys, I have set my password previously, so it is asking me, but for you, when you will be doing it for the first time, it won't ask you. When you will be doing for the first time, it will ask you to enter the new expert password. As soon as you give this command set expert password, it will come to you over here that enter new expert password. It won't ask you because I have set it earlier, that's why it is asking me, but for you it won't ask. As soon as you give this command set expert password, this command, it will ask you to enter the new expert password. Let's give the new password, and it will ask you to confirm by typing the same password again, and it has configured the password for you. So now to enter into the expert mode, the command is expert, and it is asking you to enter the expert mode password. Give the password and you are into the expert mode now. So if you want to check now in the expert mode, we will see what all things we can do. Like guys, if you remember, you can check the logs in your firewall, right? So if you want to check your logs, what you have to do, you have to go to the log directory very first. So to go to the log directory, the command is cd, that is change the directory, and slash dollar fwdir slash log. Just change the directory to this one, that is dollar fwdir slash log. And then if you have to check the logs, what all logs are available, then the command is similar to the Linux one, ls minus l and then star dot log, because the extension of the log file will be dot log. Hit enter. It will give you the list of available logs over here. So it is showing you the log file. Now let's say if you want to create the new log file over here. So what you will do, you will use the command fw log switch and hit enter. It is saying that log file has been switched to so and so, and it is giving you the name. Let's verify this by giving the command this one, and over here you can see this one file. This file is switched. Now see this one, earlier it was not there, now it is shown over here. So this was the one thing. Now let's move further, and we will be doing some configuration on our checkpoint security gateway. To move out, click on exit over here, because moreover configuration we are going to do on the checkpoint security gateway, that is our checkpoint firewall. Basically the small things which were there we have seen over here on the checkpoint management, how to create a user, how to set the password, how you will enter into the expert mode, then how you will create a log file, how you can review the log file, this all thing. Let's exit from here, and similarly we will be accessing our checkpoint security gateway firewall. Let's see if we can access, or we need to add a rule for this if we haven't added, because checkpoint firewall to manage. We have created a management rule in the using a smart console, right? So let's try to log in. If not, then we will change the rule. 10.1.1.200 is our IP address for the checkpoint firewall, that is checkpoint security gateway. And you can see the firewall is not accessible, right? So what we have to do, we have to go to our VM and into the management station. Inside that, we are running smart console. We have to add this, I mean, we have to change the policy for the is giving C network at a connection timeout because it is not allowing to access, right? We have to add this host also so that we will be able to access our firewall from this host laptop. If you remember, earlier we have configured a policy for the with the name management rule, right? Right, this was the rule. And if you see the source, we have defined management station and CP management, like the security management server should access this checkpoint gateway and rest all should deny, right? Now what we will do, we will add our host laptop also, your host machine, whatever on which you are doing the lab, that we will add. We have created a host object with the name, I think it was host laptop, the name which we have created. Let's search by the IP address. No, we don't have any such object. Okay, let's create one object. Before that, what we will do, we will just verify our IP address. The IP address is 192.168.0.166. Let's add this object. See guys, we can do the configuration straight away from the console, but as I told you that each and every time you won't go to the data center, connect the console cable and do. We need to do it remotely. That's the reason we are now opening the access to our host laptop. Let's give the name of this object as host laptop. The IP address is 192.168.0.166. Click on OK, and it's added. Host laptop is added. We will simply save it and install the policy. Click install to install the policy. So guys, the policy is installed now, and now you should be able to access this checkpoint security gateway remotely from your host laptop. 10.1.1.200 is the IP address. Try to open it. Yes, to proceed, and you are logging. So guys, let's log into the checkpoint security gateway. It is asking for password. And one important thing, like there might be a possibility even after adding the policy, you might not able to access your firewall. So if this is the case, what you have to do, just go over here to the console of the checkpoint gateway, log in over here, and one simple command you have to run, that is fw unload local. Initially also we have run this command, right? So this is the command fw unload local, and once you do this, you will be able to gain the access for the security gateway. So Over here also we will move to the expert mode, and the procedure is same. Set. And let me show you now. If you will try to type expert to go to the expert mode, it will very first say that expert password has not been defined. To set expert password, use the command set expert password. So anyhow, this is the process. If you want to go to the expert mode, very first you have to set the expert password. So the same command we will be using, set expert password. And guys, when I was showing you for the checkpoint security management server, at that time the expert mode password was set, but over here I haven't set any password, so it will be a fresh one, right? So set expert password. Now it won't say that to enter the old password. Now straight away it is asking you to enter the new password because the password is not set yet. Let's set the password and confirm it. Now your expert mode password is set. You will enter the expert mode, typing expert over here. It is asking you to enter the expert mode password, and you are into the expert mode now. And just take a note that it is giving you a warning over here, guys. It means that it is saying that all configuration should be done through CLISH. You are into the expert mode now. It means that firewall related function we need to do from CLISH, that is CLI shell, and the Linux related configuration we can do it from here. In the start of this topic itself, I have said you that there are two modes. One is the CLISH, that is CLI shell, which belongs to the checkpoint firewall, and another mode is the expert mode, which we are into now, and this is moreover where the Linux command will work. So that's the reason it is giving you a warning that all configuration should be done through CLISH. So guys, the very first command, as you are aware that if you need to get any interface IP address in Linux, the command is ifconfig, right? So same command will work over here. Ifconfig, I did typing mistake. Okay, ifconfig, and you have to give the port number. Let's say Ethernet 0. It will give you the interface IP address. Ifconfig space the port number, that is Ethernet 0 we have. So we have given that, and it will provide you the IP address of the interface. This is similarly the same command what we use in Linux. Similarly, you can check for Ethernet 1. The IP address which we have configured will be shown, that is 192.168.0.200, and Ethernet 2, which is 172.16.0.200. Now guys, this was the command to check the interface on to check the IP address on a specific interface. Now let's say if you want to see the IP addresses of all the interface at once. In that case, the command is fw get ifs, firewall get interfaces, and you will see that it will list you all the interfaces IP address. That the Ethernet 0 interface IP address is 10.1.1.200 with the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Ethernet 1 IP address is 192.168.0.200 with the subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and Ethernet 2 interface IP address is 172.16.0.200 with the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Let's move on. So guys, if you want to see the number of connections on the firewall, the command is netstat, and it will give you the number of connections that are active on the firewall right now. Now if you want to see the routing table, you will be using the same command, the one which you use in Linux, and the command is netstat space minus r. So it is giving you that where you have one default route with the gateway 192.168.0.1, that is a default route, and you have three directly connected routes, that is on Ethernet 0, Ethernet 1, and Ethernet 2. 10.1.1.0, 192.168.0.0, and 172.16.0.0 respectively. Moving on, if you want to see ARP entries command, is ARP space minus a. This is the command to check the ARP entries, and it will give you the list of ARP entries. And if you remember, in the earlier time, we have used the command in the CLISH mode. The same command we can use over here in the expert mode also, that is fwstat. And just to remind you, this command we use to check which policy is installed. And you can see it is saying that the details about the policy using the fwstat command. Now, if you want to check the version of the firewall, the command is fw space ver, and it is saying that this is a checkpoint software version R81.10 with the build number 883. Now, if you want to check the data capture on any specific interface, you will be using the same command which you use in Linux, that is tcp dump space minus I, that is interface. Let's give Ethernet 0, hit enter, and it will start to capture the data on interface Ethernet 0. If you want to stop the data capturing, press Ctrl C and it will stop. Now guys, this was specific to the interface. Now if you want to check the data, if you want to see the packet capture for only a specific IP address, the command will be tcp dump space minus I, I stand for interface Ethernet 0, and let's give the host laptop IP address 192.168.0.166. Syntax. Okay. Let's give the management station IP address. Syntax error. Let's see what mistake we are doing in the command. Guys, if you want to stop this, similarly you have to say Control C, and then now let's say if you want to create a capture file. If you want to create a capture file, then the command will be fw monitor space minus I 50 space minus o, and the file name, let's say mycap.pap. So in this command, o stands for output, and you can see the pcap file. This is to open this file in the Wireshark or any other utility. So hit enter over here, and it has started to create a capture file. Similarly, to stop this, what you have to do, you have to press Ctrl C. Now, the file which is created, if you want to check this, command is ls, and see we have given the name mycap.pap, right? So it is seen over here, mycap.pap. Let's create one more file. Let's say mycap1.pap. It has started to create a file capture over here. Let's stop this, and to verify with the command ls. Now you can see both the files. We created two files, with the one mycap.pap and the one mycap1.pap. Both are listed over here. So this was all about the configuration, the basic configuration on the CLI. Now moving on, guys, let's say our security management server stops communicating to security gateway due to some issue with SIC keys, that is secure internal communication keys. So in this case, we will see how we can reset the SIC keys. Once we reset the keys successfully, we can link the security gateway with manager. So just move out from the expert mode by typing exit over here. The first thing is to check the how you will check the SIC status, right? The command is cp underscore conf space SIC state, and you can check the status using this command. This is the command which I have used. Sorry, cp underscore conf space SIC space state. Now the trust state is established, right? Let's assume this trust state was not established, and this was the root cause. maybe like the SIC key has some issue or something. So in this case, how you will reset the keys? So to restore the keys, you have to follow this process. Step number one is give the command cp config, hit enter. You will see the option number 5, right? Choose option number 5, which is secure internal communication, and enter. Now it is saying that would you like to reinitialize communication? Say yes over here. Why? Hit enter. This thing, are you sure? Yes. Now it is asking you to enter the activation key. Enter the activation key over here. Enter. Retype the activation key. Repeat the same. Enter. Now it is saying that the secure internal communication was successfully initialized. Just press number 9 to exit. It will take some time. Once this process is completed, then we have to go to Smart Console and reestablish the trust by entering the new SIC. Now, guys, let's move to the VMware workstation. Over here, we will go to Smart Console and we are going to reestablish the trust. Okay, go to Gateways and Servers over here. Just double click on this checkpoint security gateway. Over here, click on Communication Reset. To complete the reset operation, you need to also reset the device in the configuration tool. Are you sure you want to reset? Click on yes. Just noticing reset is done. Please reinstall the firewall policy in order to update the CRL list. You must install the firewall policy to all security gateway. Click OK and just put the new password which we have created in the CLI. After entering the password, click on initialize. And you can see the trust is established, which means now your security management is connected to the gateway. Click on OK, but before that we have to install the policy also, right? Click on as you have seen earlier that when we were connecting our management to the gateway, at that time this was done and I have informed you that this is a proof that your communication is established. So here also you can see this interfaces over here are red on the management on the smart console, so which means everything is perfect. Now click OK and install the policy. Wait till our policy is installed successfully. Once it is done, then we will proceed further. So as you can see, the policy is installed successfully. Now let's move on further. So guys, now let's check a few more commands like how you will monitor the clients which are connected. Let's do it one by one. We'll again take the login. This was a logout because the trust established was disabled and definitely our policy won't be working. That's the reason. So now the trust established and you will be able to get the access, duplicate the session. And over here the firewall was restarted right over here. That's the reason now you're not getting the access. What you have to do is you have to simply give the command over here, take the login, and the command is fw unload local. That's all, and I believe now you will be able to access your security gateway. Duplicate the session and see you are able to access. So if in case your policy is there, everything is fine and you are not able to access, simply you have to clear the default security policy by giving the command fw space unload local. Okay, close this sessions which are not working now. Okay, so guys, let's say to check which all user has login through a client portal. If you remember in our earlier time we have done the identity awareness, right? We have enabled the web authentication. So which all client are connected through a web authentication? If you want to check this, you can do it by very first you have to go to expert mode. Go to expert mode, enter the password for the expert mode. Wrong password. Okay, now you are into the expert mode. So guys, to check which all users has login through the client portal, that is web authentication, you can check this by giving this command. The command is pdp space monitor space client underscore type portal. And see, if you will see over here, for now no client is connected. If you want to experience this, like which all clients are connected, what you can do, you can just turn on your active directory. You can do the web authentication. For me now the active directory is not connected. I mean, my active directory is not power on, so I won't be able to authenticate. That's the reason. If you want to experience this, what you have to do, you have to just turn on the active directory, and you can do the web authentication. And thereafter, you will see if there is any client connected. Just try to authenticate through one of the client, through do a web authentication, and you will find that detail over here. Since guys I'm running out of the space, my performance will be poor and I won't be able to complete. That's the reason I'm not turning on the active directory. But trust me, if you just on your active directory, if your identity awareness is working and if you try to authenticate using a browser, definitely you will be able to get the details. So this is the command, basically pdp space monitor space client type portal. If any user is login, it will give you the detail of that particular user over here. Now, if you want to check the user authentication through a specific IP, instead of that, if you want to check through a specific IP, that if through a specific IP address, if any user is connected, then the command is pdp space monitor space IP, and you have to give the IP. Let's give the management station IP 10.1.1.100. Enter. No information was found for 10.1.1.100 because no user is connected. But if in your case, if you are connecting any user, if you are doing a web authentication, and after that if you are trying to check, you will get the detail from this user, from this IP address, which user is connected. Now, being an administrator, you have a right to revoke the access if you find that some fraudulent or some activity which is not supposed to be done on your network and the user is trying. Now, if you want to revoke the specific user access, let's say if you want to block the internet access, it is very simple, guys. What you have to do is the command is pdp space control space revoke underscore IP, and you have to give the IP address 10.1.1.100. Let's say, for example, the management station which we have in our lab, the management station, the user using a management station, for example, is doing some activity which is not supposed to be done, and if you want to revoke his or her internet access, in that case you can simply type the command pdb space control space revoke underscore ip and the ip address of that machine, and hit enter. What it will do, it will revoke the access for that particular user on that specific machine which has a ip address which you have entered over here. Now guys, if you want to confirm, like, you have revoked the access, right? So what will happen if there was one user connected, and if you have revoked the access, after that, you can verify by giving this command pdb monitor client type portal. If you hit enter over here, none of the things should be shown over here. If nothing is shown, I mean, let's say for example, if one user was connected using this command earlier, you saw that one user is connected. Then you have given the revoke IP command over here, this command, and thereafter the user should disappear. And this is a proof that this will prove that the command which you have given to revoke the access is successfully executed. What I am showing, the commands are 100% right. Simply what you have to do, if you want to test it in your real environment, in that case, simply you have to authenticate one user on your lab, and you will be able to see it in the live. So this was all about the monitoring of the client type through a web authentication, how you can monitor the client, how you can monitor using a specific IP address, or if you want to revoke the access, how you can do so. There are few commands left that are basically a command for inventory purpose, you can say. Now let's say if you want to check the license status, command is cp LIC space print. I'm not sure whether this will work over here, or else we have to go to CLISH mode. Let's try over here. It should work, I believe. The command to check the license status is CPLIC space print. Hit enter, and it will give you the detail about your licenses. It is saying that the checkpoint product trial period will expire in 6 days, and the entire detail it is shown over here. You can read it. Now, if you want to check the license status for a specific software blade, not for the entire appliance, but for a specific blade, so the command will be CPLIC space check. Let's say we want to check the licenses for identity awareness blade. So we will say CPLIC space check space identity, and it is saying that CPLIC check identity license is valid. And finally, the last command to check the OS status, that is operating system status. The command is CPSTAT space OS, and it will give you the status of your operating system, that it is the software version, the version string is R81.10. The foundation build number, it will give the operating system name is Gaia, major version is 3, minor version, appliance name it's a VMware virtual platform, and the appliance manufacturer is VMware. So guys, this was all about the topic configuration through a command line. And just to collect all the things what we have done, guys, what at the start we have seen that the modes are two types of modes. One is CLISH, that is CLI shell, which belongs to the checkpoint firewall. Another mode is expert mode, which is nothing but the Linux mode, since the firewall is deployed on the Linux operating system. Then we have seen several commands on the checkpoint management server, and the same commands we have seen on the checkpoint security gateway. Then there were different configuration which we did on the checkpoint management server and the checkpoint security gateway. We have seen the troubleshooting. We have seen how you can recover the SIC status. So that was all about the this topic, CLI configuration in checkpoint firewall. So guys, that's all about the checkpoint NG firewall. If you have any questions, please do comment in the comment box, and I will try my best to reply to your queries as soon as possible. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe it now and do share with your friends. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next series.